welcome to Bothell Buzz, a new show about what's going on in our community. Today, we're going to talk about the Bothell Safe Streets and Sidewalks Levy. With me, I have Interim City Manager Bob Jean and our Public Works Director, Erin Linhart. Welcome, Bob and Erin.
Thank you for having us.
So I'm going to ask each of you a couple of questions, and we'll just take it from there. So Erin, you get the first question.
Great.
Bothell residents will see Proposition 1, Safe Streets and Sidewalks, on their general election ballots this fall. Can you tell us what this levy will do?
Absolutely. The levy will do a variety of things. Primarily, it's going to restore lost funding for basic maintenance. But in addition, it will also provide us funding for some improve the condition of major streets, build sidewalks and crosswalks, and also restore some suspended in-house programs like sidewalk repair and replacement and asphalt repair.
Okay, great, thanks. So Bob, can you tell us a little bit more about why this levy is needed?
Well, my perspective is a little more in depth going back the years I've managed cities in Washington. And the gas tax used to cover about half of our maintenance needs. Now it's less than a quarter. And meanwhile, on top of that, Bothell lost about $1.4 million a year in streets funding from the motor vehicle excise tax repeal and a bunch of other court-related cases. So Bothell's really been in a shortfall on streets funding for about 15 years. The council didn't want to go forward with a levy lift or a tax measure during the recession, but we really couldn't hold off any longer. And now it's up to the voters to decide if they're going to replace this money.
Great, thanks, Bob. So Bob kind of went into this a little bit, but Erin, can you tell us a little bit more about why the city decided to place this on the ballot now?
Sure. As Bob mentioned, we have had lost revenues over time, and we've been making do with one-time revenues from, for example, we had an annexation a few years ago that brought in some road taxes for us to use. And we've also been getting subsidies from the general fund, but that's not something you can do for very long because it takes funding away from other general fund city services, for example, public safety and parks. So we couldn't sustain that much longer, and we weathered the recession, made it through that, but now between the community needs and the recovery from the recession, the council felt that now was the right time.
Okay, thanks, Erin. So Bob, how much will this cost?
It depends on the average assessed value of your property, but we actually went to the county records and $376,000 was the average. That would mean $188 a year increase, or about $16 a month. So it's pretty easy to figure out if a pothole is worth $16 a month.
Okay, and so as a follow-up to that question, how much money will this raise?
They bring in about $4 million a year, and that's for 9 years. And if the voters actually approve this, it would be our intent to do more sooner and kind of move some of that money up through some financial mechanisms, but try to do more sooner if the voters give us the green light.
Okay, thanks. So Erin, how will taxpayers be able to track how their money is spent?
It's a great question, Barbara. So one of the things that we have committed to as part of this levy is an annual report to the community. So every year we will report on the activities that we've completed associated with this revenue, as well as lay out a work plan for the coming year.
Okay, great, thanks. And another question for you, Erin. How will you involve residents in deciding where these improvements are built?
So unlike capital bonds that are very project specific, this levy is truly a maintenance levy. It's primarily focused on maintaining our streets and sidewalks, but we also do have an element of safe school walk route funding in here that we intend to form a task force of parents to work with us on what the priorities are for the various schools around town.
Okay, great, thanks. And so I'm going to ask each of you this next question. Bob, you get to go first. What's the most important thing that you'd like people to remember about Proposition 1, the Safe Streets and Sidewalks Levy?
Well, it's not about what gets cut if the levy fails, because if the levy fails, we'll be making some cuts elsewhere in the general fund in order to at least hold what we've been doing. But I think the most important thing is what we can do if, in fact, this levy passes. And we can actually start to address these street maintenance needs that have been put off for years. And it's only $16 a month.
Okay, thanks. And so, Erin, I'll ask you the same question. What's the most important thing you'd like people to remember?
So it's kind of a combined one thing. So part of it is really give us the opportunity to do some cost-effective maintenance of our streets and sidewalks. And also it gives us an opportunity to better address community needs that we've periodically heard over the years. We hear a lot from parents in particular about ways to get their kids across the streets and on sidewalks. So we'd really like to have a fund to be able to help with that.
Thanks to you both, Bob and Aaron, for talking with us about the Safe Streets and Sidewalks Levy. To learn more about the levy, just go to our city website and you can click on the banner about the Safe Streets and Sidewalks Levy. If you're interested in a presentation about the levy, if you have a community group that you're a member of, Erin Lenhart's information is also on that page and you can contact her to set that up. So thanks for tuning in to the Bothell Buzz. See you next time.